Welcome to the Character Factory, where we take fictional characters and build them in Pathfinder 1E. Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider, which somehow gave him super strength. He's also got enhanced reflexes, further aided by Spidey Sense and the ability to climb on walls. Unfortunately, there are no radioactive spiders in Pathfinder, but there is magic, which is close enough. Spider-Man is a bit of a mad character, or multi-ability dependent, because he's good at just about everything. So, using 20.5 for the build, strength is 14, which may not be the highest, but before the spider, Peter had a strength of like 8, so it's a pretty good boost. Dexterity is also 14, thanks again to enhanced reflexes, but also working with circuitry requires steady hands. Constitution is 13, still not as high as I'd like, but still a big boost to what Peter had before. Intelligence is 15, because Peter is smart like that, and web slingers aren't exactly easy to make. Wisdom is 8, not as high as I'd like it, especially since extreme perception is what Spidey Sense is, but we only have so many points to work with and we needed everything else more. Charisma, finally, is 12. Spider-Man has good quips and most people like him. Most people. But one day you'll get Jameson to say something nice about you. Peter is human. The spider didn't change enough about his physiology to make him something else, so he gets a +2 to any ability score, put it to wisdom to get to a minimum of what I wanted. They also are skilled, which gives them additional skill rank each level. Finally, humans get a bonus feat. We're going to take toughness, giving you +3 HP and 1 HP every level starting at 4th level. Spider-Man tends to get thrown around by the big bads. This will help him survive that. The important skills are acrobatics and climb, because Spider-Man jumps and runs up walls. Craft, because you make all your own equipment. Unless you're Tom Holland Spider-Man, but even then you make your own web fluid, and you're just a good tinkerer. While you may not pick locks, disable device is still good for the traps and bombs you have to disarm. Intimidate is useful because Spider-Man can be scary when he wants to be. Magic is the closest we can get to science, so knowledge arcana, and knowledge local because you know your neighborhood very well. Spidey Sense is, as prior mentioned, just juiced up perception. Sleight of hand is useful for taking small things away from the bad guys, and when you're dealing with a hostage situation, it's good to have stealth and to take out enemies quietly. Finally, use magic device for all your Spidey gadgets. Your first trait is the combat trait Reactionary, which gives you a +2 bonus to initiative, and further improving your Spidey Sense by making you more likely to have the first turn in combat. The other trait is the social trait Acrobat. This gives you a +1 to acrobatics and only a -2 to accelerated climbing instead of -5. We're going to kick things off as a wizard, which grants you first an arcane bond, a masterwork object that lets you cast one additional spell per day from your spellbook without preparation. It can be a number of things, but I'm going to say ring because nothing else really fits Peter, but maybe you can talk your GM into giving you a wristband. Next, you get an arcane school, a school of magic which grants you additional powers. We'll be taking the Universalist School, which means we don't have to take any opposition schools. The power the Universalist School grants is Hand of the Apprentice, which lets you throw a melee weapon and have it returned to your hand immediately after. You can flavor this as throwing something with your web. The attack roll uses your intelligence instead of dexterity, but still uses your damage for strength, and you can use the ability up to 3 times per day, plus your intelligence modifier, which at this point is 5. You also get Scribe Scroll as a bonus feat. There's a lot of papers you need to write in high school, but unlike most people, this gives Peter a reason to have written all those papers. Now for the fun part, spells. In your spellbook, you have all cantrips, but only a few are important, like Grasp, which lets you reroll a failed climb check as a free action at a -2 penalty. You can use it as many times as you want, but those -2 stack each casting, so be careful. The other two you need are Detect Magic and Read Magic. Again, magic is the science of this world, and Spider-Man can find a lot of tech and such with his visor, and he can read code very well. Obviously, magic text is just coding for wizards. Now for the first level spells, the fun ones. Jump gives you a +10 on acrobatics checks to, you guessed it, jump! Long jumps and high jumps specifically, and this will increase to 20 when we hit 5th level wizard. Anticipate Peril gives a target a bonus to initiative equal to the caster level for a maximum of +5 for enhanced Spidey Sense action. Heightened Awareness further enhances Spidey Sense, giving you +2 perception and all knowledge skills you have ranks in. And if initiative starts while the spell is active, you can end the spell to give yourself a +4 on it, which does stack with Anticipate Peril. Hold Portal keeps a door, window, or gate shut as though it were locked. Web up the doors and keep the baddies from running. Finally, Adhesive Spittle lets you spit a Tanglefoot bag at someone, which is basically tactical glue. They have to make a reflex save to avoid becoming entangled, and the adhesive lasts 2d4 rounds. If they get through the web door, web their knees! Finally, your feat this level is Dodge, giving you a +1 dodge bonus to AC. Second level wizards only get more spells, but we have good spells to take. First, your new cantrip is Mage Hand, which is 5-pound telekinesis to grab unattended objects. If someone tries to grab a gun on a table, grab it first. Now your first level spells. Featherfall makes a falling creature fall on 60 feet per round, which is much slower than it sounds and negates fall damage. Spider-Man doesn't really fall slow, but he doesn't take fall damage either, so this will work. The other spell is Glue Seal. It works similarly to Adhesive Spittle in that targets need to make a reflex save to avoid becoming entangled if they're in the targeted 5-foot square, but you can also cast it on an object, sticking them down. You can also cast it on armor to cause a -10 to the target's escape artist checks and to their CMD to avoid being grappled. Third level wizards get second level spells now, and the best spell possible for this build. Web fills up a 20-foot radius with webs, but must be anchored on 2 opposite surfaces, so use this on walls and ceilings. And the creatures inside the web, or moving through it, become grappled. Take out a whole group at once until the cops come by with the scissors. The other spell we get is Spider Climb, which lets you do just that. You get a climb speed of 20 feet and a +8 to climb checks, and you don't even need to make climb checks to climb up walls and ceilings. The only downside is that you need your hands free, but fortunately Spider-Man almost always has his hands free. Finally, you get a feat. Take Improved Initiative, giving you a +4 to initiative for a +8 total without spell buffs. At 4th level, we're going to hop over to Brawler, which first gives us Brawler's Cunning, which is irrelevant to the build, so we're not going to talk about it, and how it lets you treat your intelligence as 13 if it's lower than that for the purpose of taking feats. Wait. You also get Martial Flexibility, which, as a move action, gives you the benefit of a combat feat you don't possess, which lasts a number of rounds equal to 3 + half your Brawler level. You also get Martial Training, which treats you as both a fighter and a monk for the purpose of taking feats and using magic items. We also get Unarmed Strike, which does a few things, but first gives you Improved Unarmed Fighting as a bonus feat, letting you deal lethal damage with your unarmed attacks. Your unarmed attacks, which now deal 1d6 per hit, and that number will only go up. Finally, this level we get an ability score improvement. Put it to Constitution to bring it up to 14, giving you a big HP boost between this and the Brawler's D10 hit die. Second level Brawlers get Brawler's Flurry, a full round action that grants you the 2-weapon fighting feat while using it. You get to make an extra attack every time you use a Brawler's Flurry, and add your strength modifier to both attacks. Finally, at this level, we get our standard feat and a bonus feat. First up is Mobility, which gives you a +4 dodge bonus to AC when you provoke attacks of opportunity by moving. The second feat is Power Attack, which gives you a scaling penalty on attack rolls, but gives you a scaling bonus on damage rolls. You declare a power attack before attacking, and it lasts until the start of your next turn. Right now it's a -1 to attack rolls and a +2 to damage rolls. Third level Brawlers don't actually get much at this level. All we get is Maneuver Training, which gives you a +1 on your combat maneuver bonus to a specific combat maneuver of your choice, and a +1 to your combat maneuver defense against that maneuver. We're going to start with Disarm, so you can take away enemy guns. At 4th level Brawler, our unarmed damage increases to 1d8. We also get an AC bonus, which gives us a +1 dodge bonus to AC when you wear light or no armor. Spider-Man wears spandex, so clearly you are too. You have been wearing vibrant spandex in your campaign, right? Well, regardless of your fashion choices, you still get the knockout ability. You announce the knockout before your attack roll, and if you land the attack, the target has to make a Fortitude save, and if they fail, surprise surprise, they're knocked out for 1d6 rounds. They can make a new save every round on their turn, and you can only do a knockout once a day. This here will work as your finisher. Finally, we get a feat this level. Take Combat Reflexes, which lets you make more attacks of opportunity per round for a total of your Dexterity modifier. Hopping back to Wizard now, we get to pick some more second level spells, starting with Pilfering Hand. This lets you make an abrupt maneuver or a careful maneuver. An abrupt maneuver lets you make a disarm or steal combat maneuver, using your caster level plus your intelligence as your combat maneuver bonus. And a careful maneuver lets you attempt a disable device or sleight of hand check. More ways for you to take the enemy's toys, but at a distance. We'll also grab Anticipate Thoughts. It gives you a +2 insight bonus to AC, and if they fail a will save, you get a +1 to attack and damage rolls against the target. Finally, whenever they miss an attack on you, the attack and damage bonus against them increases by +1 to a maximum of +5. We also get another ability score increase this level, which we'll put to Intelligence. This brings it up to 16 for increased DCs and more skill ranks. 5th level wizards get 3rd level spells, and first off we're going to take Haste. This gives you an additional attack per round, a +1 on attack rolls, a +1 dodge bonus to AC and reflex saves, and finally, all movement speeds you have increased by 30 feet. Spider-Man is fast, and this makes you fast. Our other spell is going to be Hold Person, which paralyzes the target on a failed will save. Web them up and beat them down. We also get 2 feats this level. We'll start by taking Spell Focus Conjuration, which increases the DC of your conjuration spells by +1. This will stop your enemies from resisting your webbing spells as often, like Adhesive Spittle and Web. We also get a bonus feat from Wizard, which will make the Meta Magic feat Heightened Spell. You can repair your lower level spells in your higher level spell slots, which increases their DC. At 6th level of Wizard, we get more spells, like the 3rd level spell Swipe. This lets you make a combat maneuver check equal to your caster level plus intelligence modifier. If you succeed, the target item is teleported to your hand or rests at your feet. Our next spell is actually a 1st level spell, being Handy Grapnel. You cause a rope to shrink into a piece of ammunition. When you fire it as a medium or larger object, it embeds itself into the target with the strength of an iron grappling hook, and when you're within range of the rope, you can cause the end of the rope to fly into your hand as a move action. As another move action, you can pull yourself towards the hook at about 50 feet per round, and it carries up to 200 pounds per caster level. This is pretty much the best option for web slinging. Now we go back to Brawler, and 5th level Brawlers get Brawler's Strike Magic, which means your fists are now treated as magic for bypassing damage reduction. You also get Close Weapon Mastery. Weapons from the Close Weapon group now deal damage equal to the last tier of unarmed damage. This will cover most of the random objects you throw at people. Next up, Feats. First up is Jabbing Style. Once you hit someone with an unarmed attack, all other unarmed attack deals an extra d6 of damage for that round. Spider-Man hits a lot, and this will make you better at that. Next is Springing Attack. You can move and hit someone in the same turn without provoking an attack of opportunity. You have to move 10 feet before using the ability. Run up, hit someone, then run over to the next person you're gonna hit. 6th level Brawlers can use 2 feats at once with martial flexibility, and can now gain 1 feat as a swift action. However, using 2 feats at once uses 2 rounds of martial flexibility instead of just 1. Next this level, we get an ability score improvement. Put it to Dexterity. We aren't actually going to boost it to 16 later, this is just for a feat prerequisite. At 7th level of Brawler, we get more maneuver training. Firstly, our disarm bonus improves to +2, and now we can pick another maneuver. We'll take Trip as our next one. Now you can take away the enemy toys and knock them off their feet. We also get another feat this level. Take Circling Mongoose. Now whenever you make a full round attack, you can make a 5-foot step between each attack. This does still provoke attacks of opportunity unless you succeed an acrobatics check. The bonus here is that once you land a hit, your next hits will have a flanking bonus to attack rolls, and those stay until you miss a hit. Spider-Man's fighting style is very mobile after all. At 8th level, Brawler's unarmed damage increases to 1d10. Brawler's Flurry also improves, giving you the benefit of improved 2-weapon fighting, which gives you another attack during Brawler's Flurry at a -5 penalty to attack. Finally this level, the feat Nimble Moves. This lets you move 5 feet in difficult terrain without issue. The real benefit here is that it lets you make 5 feet for Circling Mongoose, and just in general use. At 9th level, Brawler's AC bonus increases to +2. Their Brawler Strike also improves, to be treated as Cold Iron and Silver for the purposes of bypassing damage reduction. Spider-Man doesn't fight werewolves to my knowledge, but one of the villains turns people into dinosaurs, which I'm pretty sure would be counted as lycanthropy, so being able to punch like Silver is useful. 10th level Brawler's Martial Flexibility lets them use up to 3 feats at once, and can activate a 1 feat as a free action or 2 feats as a swift action. Again though, every feat you take increases how many rounds the ability uses. You can also now use Knockout 2 times a day for extra finishers. Finally, we get another ability score improvement, Put to Strength, which we'll round up later. At 11th level of Brawler, we get our last maneuver training increase. Firstly, your disarm bonus increases to +3 and trip increases to +2. Your new maneuver will be Dirty Trick. A dirty trick lets you make a move to try and hinder your opponent, like pulling down their pants to cause them to be staggered, or throwing sand in their eyes to inflict blindness. It lasts for 1 round, plus an additional round for every 5 you beat the opponent's combat maneuver defense. The different conditions you can inflict are blinded, dazzled, deafened, entangled, shaken, and sickened. Spider-Man tends to web people in the face, so this lets you do that. We also get Feats this level. Start with Jabbing Dancer. It lets you move 5 feet after hitting an opponent with jabbing style, and the movement does not provoke an attack of opportunity. Pair this with Circling Mongoose, and you have extra damage, a flanking bonus, and no need for acrobatics checks. Our next feat is Jabbing Master. This increases the damage from jabbing style. The second hit now deals an additional 2d6 damage, and every hit thereafter now deals 4d6 damage. Now you can really start stacking up damage against the bad guys. At 12th level of Brawler, we get our final unarmed damage improvement. Unarmed Strike now all deals 2d6 damage. Brawler Strike also improves once more, and now your unarmed attacks are now treated as your alignment for purposes of passing DR. I'd just say good, but who knows, maybe you're playing an evil Spider-Man. Martial Flexibility also improves. You can now select a feat as an immediate action, or 3 feats as a swift action. 13th level Brawlers sees our AC bonus increase to +3 now, and our final AC increase of the build. We also get another feat this level, which will make improved Spring Attack. Now when you use Spring Attack, you can attack a second target while moving instead of just one, although at a -5 penalty to the attack roll, and the movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Final level of the build. 14th level Brawlers get a feat, and will take a Zada style, giving you a +1 to AC when you move 15 feet. Which lasts until the beginning of your next turn. May not sound good, but with Spring Attack and Circling Mongoose, you'll be moving around plenty on your turn. Finally, your last ability score improvement. Make it Strength, bringing it up to 16 for one final damage boost. And that's the build. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is ready to take to the streets and the walls and whatever else he may decide to go to. Let's see how good he is at it. You have a lot of mobility. With Spider Climb, Haste, and Circling Mongoose. Attack rolls are a bit low, but you more than make up for it with 6 attacks when you use Brawler's Flurry and Circling Mongoose. With 2d6 +3 damage, that improves to 4d6 and 6d6 with Jabbing Master. Martial Flexibility is an amazing feature that lets you use so many different feats. And of course, all of your spells are bonuses and debilitations, with several bonuses of your Spidey Sense and ways to rip weapons and items from your opponents at range. Of course, you're now without your downsides. Because of how spread out ability scores had to be, your spell DCs are a bit low, and your per hit damage only starts to pick up at later levels. And if your enemies are flying, you may have trouble reaching them, with your best range option being Hand of the Apprentice. Finally, your AC is low, sitting at 16 without armor, or 20 while moving thanks to mobility. But that's workable. Spider-Man may work alone, but Pathfinder is a group game. Immobilize your enemies, summon the spiders, and remember that with great power comes great responsibility. Let me know what you think of the build down below, and maybe like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, or don't. I have no authority over you.